Hey, welcome back to our Hot Pirate interview series. And as you know, every time I have an amazing entrepreneur, speaker, change maker with me that shares his or her amazing best practices, hints, and tips on how you can also, bring your speaking and your business to the next level. So today I have a wonderful friend of mine. Her name is Yoke van Dam. And she has been called the Kintsugi Queen. Kintsugi, okay, I think that's Japanese, right? Okay, you're gonna tell us more
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But she's been called the Kintsugi Queen because she's really able to join, grow, and transform teams and turn them into something quite wonderful. Isn't that a sweet promise? She's also really passionate about the buying brain. I wonder what a buying brain is, but Yogi is going to tell us more about that today as well. And she became obsessed with persuasion, sales, and influence ever since she was selling pizza at the age of 15. Through her company, Y Connect, she empowers leaders and teams to uncover their purpose, cultivate a growth mindset, to find their flow, and to influence each other. She really wears quite a lot of hats as a speaker, consultant, and coach. She's a professional member of the PSASA. And I had the honor to actually run a session with all of you, the PSASA amazing virtual chapter last year, which was wonderful. And so what everyone that doesn't know what a PSASA is, it's the Professional Speaker Association of South Africa, right? And Yoke also serves on the speaking committee of the PSASA. And as we already said, she's the founder of Y Connect. Well, Yoke, it's amazing to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Monique. It's so lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. Okay, let's jump right in. We always love to ask everyone this juicy question right from the beginning. What are your personal 3 best practices or juicy secrets that help you right now to bring your speaking and your business to a different level? Okay.
I really believe in doing a lot of public speaking. And Monique, what we're doing right now, even an interview, which is whether it's live stream, pre-recorded, podcast interview, can also be seen as public speaking. So one of my brand strategists said to me, it's really important to at least every month get your name out there. So can you, create your own LinkedIn events, do live stream events, you could advertise webinars over Zoom on various platforms, but get places where you can do public speaking. So if you can't get onto live stages in front of people, get on there virtually. So I literally go out there and identify who are running webinars, where is my ideal target audience hanging out, and I approach those people and ask, can't I come and offer this value? Where, for instance, I'll be speaking about emotional intelligence, or if I know, for instance, there's an accountant that she's doing a lot of webinars on business sustainability. So specifically on the business sustainability side, I then pitched a webinar for how do you retain your star performers. So looking at it, it doesn't necessarily have to be people that are competitors of yours. It's actually better if they're not, but they are speaking to the kind of economic buyers that you want. So you actually want to educate your target market about that thing that you could either sell as a keynote, training, consulting. So ultimately that then actually opens doors. So that's my first one. Then interviews kind of falls into that as well. So I go onto specific places where I pitch to be interviewed on podcasts, but I also identify topics that I want to interview people on. And then I was that. So the one year I literally decided, it was November and that's my birthday month. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm already feeling like it's Christmas. You get into the stores and there's all the Christmas decorations. I was like, I need to urgently ramp up my game. So I said, I need to focus on goal setting for the next year already, get in more sales. I interviewed 4 people every week, female entrepreneurs, on different elements of goal setting, which inspired my target audience, but I was also seen as the expert interviewing them. So it's not always just you being interviewed, but also you interviewing someone else, and then you're providing that value. And then the third one is strategic selling. So really identifying who are the economic buyers, identifying the types of companies you want to do business with, and starting to have conversations with those people. So I was literally Friday, I was at the hairdresser. So you can see my highlights looks nice. And I literally asked the lady that was sitting next to me, so what is it that you do? So elevator pitch. She asked me, what do I do? And she is the head of HR of an automotive business with 900 employees. And today I called her and set up an appointment with her. I actually offered to take her for breakfast or lunch. And she was like, no, come through to our offices so you can meet the training people. So always looking out, isn't there someone that could be an ideal client that could either introduce me to someone or open a door? So all of the time, knowing your elevator pitch, knowing what you're about, and always seeing opportunities everywhere.
Right. I love it. You know what? I mean, you and I, you could already fill a whole day talking about these three things, right, today. So let's jump in. I picked up a lot of juicy things that you said, okay? The first thing related to speaking, and where you said, like, you pitch your webinars, okay? So a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs are actually running their own webinars, right? But pitching their webinar to someone else is something not that many people do. Would you like to say more about that? So how do you get your webinar run into someone else's community?
So a friend of mine that we originally met. So we met through a female entrepreneurship opportunity. So look at, can't you join business chambers? Can't you find strategic partners that are potential people that could have the same target audience as you, but that are not doing the same thing? So I realized kind of people that could solve big strategic problems, could be accountants, auditors, potentially lawyers. So if you could offer value to them, that they can offer a speaking gig where they don't pay you, but you're getting in front of their clients. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, it's about actually looking at people that you know, people that you meet at these events, and trying to have strategic meetings to say, who are you serving? Who's your client? Who are your clients? Who you're doing a lot of business with, and trying to see would those people have the kind of problems that you are solving, or the kind of needs that you are satisfying with other clients. Right. And then try to see if you could marry something that they would find value in, because they're never going to find value in just you're saying, oh, Monique, I want to speak at your event. If you're not going to offer something of value, it's going to be a waste of their time. So lawyers and accountants, they get billed by the hours. So even what I realized with this webinar, sometimes you actually have to keep it short. So this was a lunchtime, and it's 30 minutes. And everyone stayed for the full 30 minutes. And we made it really action-packed, orientated. We were very goal-orientated. And she has a frequent series. So try to see if you can't actually get into a partnership with people that are actually doing something on a continuous level. So what this lady said to me is she believes in the philosophy of Tony Robbins and all of their partners that say you need to get onto other people's stages. And the moment you get on their stages, then you actually get into their clients, and your market just keeps on growing. So another tip that I have there for you is something that I learned from social selling and LinkedIn is always share your LinkedIn QR code so people can very easily connect with you. So what I also did in those webinars is immediately I would share it at the beginning and the end. And then even if you don't get any contact details, these days with the Privacy Act, you can't get contact details of people. But if you're running a competition or of some sort, and they need to go comment on a specific post on LinkedIn, that's a way in which I've gotten the algorithm to really favor my posts and get seen by, I actually had a live event where I did this. I was trying to get a lot of engagement on a social media post. So during the event, but this is in front of people, 130 people RSVP'd, only less than 50 arrived at this event. But I got so much exposure because I got everyone to engage on the LinkedIn post within that hour on 2 posts. And the next day I posted a photo, tagged people in, comments, lessons learned, everything like that. And I had, I think, more than 1,000 views for each 3 of those posts. The next morning, I literally had a qualified client send me an inbox message asking me to be a speaker at an event and she called me. And it was someone that I'd added on LinkedIn previously, an ideal client, but such a small percentage of people actually see your post. You need to find creative ways of going viral so your own people can see your post. So that's one of the ways that I would say as well. Try to get as much engagement as you can immediately so that the algorithm can bring you in front of other people. And that has literally had an impact of, as I'm saying, business happening. But that was just the lead. I still had to then, have the conversation over the phone. I then said to the client, do you want to have it over Zoom? And I realized, no, it's in South Africa. It's possible. Let me drive an hour and a half there. I'll rather go there. I'll be more influential. And the client said to me, I was the only person that did the effort of going to them. And I was so much more persuasive because I was actually there and they eventually chose me. Mm. So sometimes you're going to get a lead, but you need to do a lot of effort to convert it because you're still competing against others.
Of course.
Because people are shopping around. So what effort are you putting in to the human to human engagement at the end?
Very much. And, again, depending on where you are, my dear friends, if you're listening in right now, you might say, you know what? I mean, I'm maybe in the UK and I have a potential client in Australia. You might not hop onto the next plane, right?
No.
There's a lot of, creative ways of how else you can show them that you really care, right? So, okay, what are other ways you would show someone you really care if you cannot hop into a car and drive over?
Well, definitely doing a lot of effort in your preparation. So last week I was at a PSA Johannesburg session. We had Shelley Waters. She's quite amazing on sales. And she said something. She said, you need to almost scenario plan that entire meeting. So you can't go into a meeting completely cold. You need to think, what could they potentially be struggling with? Can you go and watch videos of the CEO, watch the latest press releases and actually see what are the issues that you could be picking up without even being there so that you could ask some strategic questions in the meeting. Because if you're just going to get there and you're not actually going to know anything, like they say, they can find all your testimonials on your website. They can go watch your YouTube videos. What are you going to share a value that they're not going to be able to have found themselves beforehand? That's what you need to do. So out caring and out preparing so that when you're there, they feel like, wow, I haven't even paid you, but I've already found massive value in engaging with you.
Right, absolutely. And, asking these questions is really powerful because often people are not even asking these questions themselves, right? And you might even, with thorough preparation, become aware of some of the challenges they're facing. They're not even aware themselves. And again, it's not up to us to show, to make them feel that we are criticizing them on these challenges. But really, again, in a sensitive way, opening up the conversation and asking questions is a very powerful way of, not being kind of preachy, but rather, or finger pointing or anything else, by helping them become more aware of, what they really need and want most right now. So, Yoke, I love that. And I also love, what you shared around strategic selling, right? So you say that, hey, you know what, you're always reaching out to potential clients and potential partners and everything else. You engage them in a conversation. So this is something that a lot of people keep asking me all the time. We are doing that quite well, actually, on LinkedIn. We have quite a good, really above average response rate. But I'd like to hear from someone like you. How do you craft a message to reach out when people don't even know you yet? What are you saying to trigger their interest?
So check on the platform. What are the interests? What are they writing articles about? What are the people that they are following? So can you, before you reach out, maybe go and comment on some of their posts? So I saw something very interesting happening, Monique. I commented on a fellow speaker's post. He wrote this beautiful post about Trevor Noah. So Trevor Noah is originally from South Africa, and he was recently doing that White House address, that press. sorry about that. And he was really amazing. And this guy spoke about imposter syndrome and how he grew up in a township and how he learned, how he really struggled because in South Africa, in that mindset, they were saying to people, you should never shine or show your confidence or whatever. And I said to him, oh, that's so interesting. So I commented, said, in my culture, so my home language is Afrikaans, in my original culture, it's also frowned upon to promote yourself. So I was saying, that's why you should not just look within your own culture and people, but rather look at the type of people that inspire you and be inspired by them. Anyway, so I was doing like a little bit of thought leadership piece, like writing some comments, whatever. And then I had 50 people liking this. And the next day, 25 people connecting with me because of my comments. I did not even reach out to any of them. So sometimes by doing that, that person will then start noticing you, and then you can send a message to them to otherwise say, wow, I really loved your article that you wrote about Trevor Noah. I think this and this. I would really love to engage with you further. I think we have a similar point of view. Can we please connect? And only once they've connected, then you can take it further, but don't immediately start with a sales pitch, because otherwise it's literally like a cell phone,
you lose the
cell phone company
before it's even building, right? We don't want that.
You know what I'm yeah. Well, if you flatter them, but not in a flirtatious way like you would get on the dating sites, more from an intellectual point of view,
right, and
from what they're writing, people love that. I think if you're looking at the social influencing stats, I think almost like, I don't know if it's 1 to 5% of all LinkedIn users are actually even writing any content or posting. Most people are actually just engaging with the content. So if you are going to be commenting on the people that are actually influencers themselves, if they are your target audience, or even if a person shares an article of interest or things like that. So get into their radar and see what makes them tick, what are engaging them, and possibly start even sharing articles or things that could help them.
Right.
So, yeah.
So many golden nuggets, Yoke. And as I said, you and I, we could continue, having this conversation for a whole day and longer, right? But thank you for sharing all your golden nuggets. But you and I, we are actually fans of action, right? And only when we take action on inspiration, something happens and we get results, right? So this is why every time we are having an interview, we ask our guests, what is one thing from everything, all the hints and tips that you shared today? What is one thing you invite everyone that is with us today? And by the way, friends, thank you for being on with us on a regular basis and allowing us to inspire you and uplift you with your speaking and your business. So, but coming back to the question, okay, what is one thing everyone that is here with us right now, what is one thing they can do right now to turn their inspiration into action? What action can they take so they get results from our conversation?
So something really easy is from one of the world champions of Toastmasters called Craig Valentine. He said, ask yourself the following questions. How do you want the audience? So whether it's a radio interview, podcast interview, even this interview right now, it's streamed. How do you want the people to feel? What do you want them to think? And what do you want them to do? So go brainstorm those 3 things whenever you're going into public speaking engagement, you're running a webinar, you're being interviewed. What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to think about? And what do you want them to do? And then you craft your message around that. So just base those 3 things. And what you could also do at the end is actually interview some people and ask them, what were your takeaways? How did it make you feel, to actually see if you made that intention that you put out there? But what I found for myself, Monique, when I do that, changes my tone, it changes my intention, and it takes the attention away from me, where you're focusing really on the audience and what impact you want to leave them with.
I love it. And you know what? Here's this juicy thing. So I love, and our common friend Greg, I met him, I interviewed him in the past. He's an amazing guy. I love him too. So again, thank you for sharing that again. So here's the thing. What I would suggest, I'm picking up on what Yoke said, and I turn it into a concrete action, right? If you have been speaking before, are you in touch with someone that has heard and listened to a speech of yours or been in one of your workshops, whatever your speaking engagement was, and ask that person, what did you feel when you came out of this, listening to me or being out of this workshop or after the speech? How did you feel? What did you think about? And what action did you take? And what impact did that have on yourself or your business? Okay, so it's really powerful. So go out, ask at least one person, and then again, make that a common habit that whenever you're crafting a new speech, ask these 3 questions, right? Very powerful. Thank you, Yoke. So I noticed so much that you are, happy to share with everyone. You're very generous with sharing your knowledge and experience and insights. There's probably a lot of people that would love to connect with you based on this interview. So where can they find you? How can they best connect with you?
So my website is y-connect.biz. And on that, you can immediately book a free call with me. There's a link to a free webinar on how to build credibility and trust that I think will be really, really beneficial. And if you go through to my YouTube channel, which you can get right there, there's a lot of showcases that I've done for the professional speakers that can really be helpful. So go and have a look at the various playlists on my YouTube. So go to the website y-connect.biz.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Yoke, for being on with us today. Would you like to run it all off with a final word of inspiration?
So I just came back from Greece, and we were hiking some crazy ass summits, and my inspiration to you is have a clear goal in mind and do the necessary training that's required, but know when you need to rest and enjoy it along the way as well. So build your resilience and work really hard at it, but work in self-care, work in rest for yourself, because you're not a robot, you're a human being. And so are your clients. So rather look at quality versus quantity. Less is definitely more.
Love it. That's what a summit climber is saying, Yoke, in Greece, right? So, and again, you are just, bringing the proof right to our conversation, right? So again, it's when we are resting and when we take our time out, that's when the greatest insights come, right? So all of you, okay, I hope you were inspired by our interview today. Thank you, Yoke, so much for being on with us, taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you all for being on, investing in yourself, picking up these golden nuggets and getting inspired by our hard part interview series again and again. But follow also what Yoke said, right? Put in everything you can, but also make sure you rest and you give yourself a break. So thank you, Yoke, for being on with us. Thank you all for being on with us. And as we always say at the end, go out there, keep doing your own magic and speak up, scale up, impact the world. We'll be back with another inspiring interview very soon. Until then, keep creating your own magic. Okay, until soon. All the best for now.
Thank you.